Okay, today we'll discuss about eval command in Splunk. Okay, eval is a very widely used command in Splunk, and it supports a wide range of functions as well. So I'll discuss some of them in today's discussion as well. So before that, let me give you a background like what eval is. So eval is a command which evaluates a particular expression, and then it posts that result as a new field or as a existing field in your search result. Okay, now that depends on the creating of the new field is depend on the what of the field name you are giving to the eval. Okay, now before I show you different use cases of eval, let me give you a brief what I am going to discuss today. So we'll see how we can create a new field or override existing field in eval. We'll see how eval chains and back reference works. Okay, and how field with special characters and literals we have to deal with dot and plus operator. Now this is really important, using eval with stats, event stats and stream stats function. Okay, and different types of functions I'll be discussing today. Okay, now before that, let me tell you the number 4 first. Fields with special characters and literals. If you see here, I have a data, right? I have first name, last name, occupation and salary. And if you see, the first name has a space in between here. Even last name has a space in between. In your day-to-day production scenario, you will find this kind of scenario very often because when you access some APIs and load the data as a JSON, right? If there is some kind of JSON array you are indexing to Splunk, there is a very high possibility that that particular field will have dot in it as a special characters, or you can have field like this kind of the this kind of field where you have space in between. Okay, so to access this field's value and field's name, you have to treat it in separate way. So just remember one thing: when you intend to use that field value, then enclose that field here in a single code. Okay, that means my intention is to use my field value. When my intention is to use the field name, I will enclose in double quotes. Okay, I'll give you some examples as well. And let us discuss about the dot and plus operator first. So dot and plus both are concatenation operators in Splunk. So only the difference is plus operator requires strings at the both side. That means it can only concatenate two strings. But dot is more versatile. It can concatenate a string with number, a number with number, like that. Okay, so let us see. So I have index this data.csv in my main index, if you see here. Okay, so first we'll discuss about plus operator. Okay, so now this is how you create a eval statement, eval and a field name. So here you can give a existing field or a new field. I'll give a new field, let's say new field, right? Now I will concatenate. So my first name, let's say I'll concatenate my first name and last name. Okay, so now as I am concatenating their values, so I'll be using my first name in single quote. Okay, then plus similarly last name. Okay, so if your field do not have any special characters, you can ignore this part. Okay, now let's say I will table it, table. Now if you see table, I want to table this first name, last name and new field. Now in this case, table requires that field name, right? That's why I will be enclosing in double quotes. First name, last name, and as my new field do not have any special characters, I'll do like this. Okay, now if you see, the plus has been concatenated these two fields for each and every row. Now if I give dot here, it will also work in the same way. But where plus fail is, suppose if I give plus here, okay, and first name with, let's say, numeric value 100. Okay, if you see, it has not created anything because it fails, because it cannot concatenate a string with a number. Okay, so if I give dot over here, it works, concatenation. Okay, this is the difference between dot and plus. Let's move on. Now I already show you how we can create a new field through eval, right? So let's say how we can modify that existing field through eval. So to do that, what I will do, I have to give the field name here. Okay, let's say I want to replace my first name with some random value. So as I am using the field name, intend to use my field name, that's why I'm enclosing in double quotes first name, and let's say the same thing, first name with 100, concatenation. Okay, so there will be no new field. I will remove from the table. Now if you see here, it is not creating a new field. Now it is updating the existing first name field with these values. Okay, so now eval chain, let's discuss about eval chains and back reference. So what is eval chain is, suppose you have evaling a new field. New field equals to, let's say, my name, Sid. Okay, so now I can create another eval statement by separating comma. I don't need to write another, let's say, pipe, then eval then another field name. No, I cannot. I can do that, but it's not necessary. I can give comma and let's say new underscore field 1. Okay, so what I will do, let's say, another one, seed 1. Okay, and if I just table this to new field comma new field 1, so it is working in the same way with two eval statements similar to this one, eval new field 1. This output will be similar, but you are saving a lot of code space, and you are doing this two eval with a single eval command itself instead of running two eval commands. Okay, this is called eval chain. And back reference means, suppose you have created a new field here, right? I can reuse the field in next eval statements, something like this. If I give new field 1 equals to new field, that means I am reusing the new field created just before this new field 1. The query will be little bit different, because here it will all give me sid, new field and new field 1. Okay, so I'm using a field which I already created through eval in a next evals field definition. Okay, this is how you can back reference the fields as well. Okay, this one we already discussed. Now this one I'll be discussing at the end of the video, because it requires some kind of explanation. So before I discuss this thing, I want to discuss the other commands eval supports. Okay, now eval supports very wide range of commands, and if you go to Splunk documentation, and it's supporting very huge range of commands. I'll be discussing some of them today, and I'll be giving this link to this to our video as well, so that you can refer it. Okay, so now there are different kinds of functions eval supports something like comparison and conditional functions, like case, if, like conversions functions, like I want to convert number to string. Cryptographic functions, suppose you want to convert to a SHA-1 or any encode, sorry, basically you want to encode something, right, with any of the algorithm like SHA-1, SHA-256, MV5, you can do that. Date and time functions, informational functions, like whether the particular value is null or not, is number or not. right? Mathematical function, it suppose huge number of mathematical functions, statistical functions and text functions. So let us first discuss about some of the comparison and conditional functions. Okay. I'll start with case. Now let's say I'm writing something like this: eval new field equals to case. Okay, let's say I have a first name and last name, right? Whenever I have a first name as first underscore one, I want to make it as first underscore 100. Okay, so this is how case statements work. By the way, is case, right? You have a condition here. You have a condition here. If that condition is successful, then you have a success whatever value here. Okay, again you are evaluating another condition. Suppose this is condition 1, this is condition 2, and again some success value. Suppose this is success value 1, so this will be success value 2. Okay, it does not have any fallback. It does not have fallback means if the condition is failing, it does not allow you to do in that way, but there is a way to do it. Okay, I'll show you that one as well. So let's build our first case statement. So I'm saying case my first name is, let's say, first underscore 1. If my first name is first underscore 1, then I'll give first underscore 100. Okay, my new field value. Okay, now let's see what's going on there. Table first name, new field, occupation, salary. I'll just remove it now. Okay, now if you see, case only converted this value only because I have not provided any condition when this condition is getting failed, right? Similarly, I can add another condition similar to this. In this case, let's say first 2, I'll convert to first 200, right? Now what if I want to give some fallback condition, like if none of these conditions are getting evaluated to success, what I'll do in this case, I have to write 1 equals to 1 because this is the condition which will be always true. Okay, for other condition it will be, let's say I'll just keep my first name as is, right? So this one, in this case what will happen, whenever the condition is matching it is converting, otherwise it is keeping as is. Okay, this is how case works. Now let's move on to validate. Now validate is opposite of case. Okay, that means if I just write validate here, let's run it. What is happening, let's see. Now if you see here, validate, what is happening, it validate this condition. If this condition is successful, okay, or if this condition is getting failed, then only it will happen over here. It will pick this value. If this condition is getting failed, then only it is pick this value. Correct? So if you see here, the output is first name equals to first one. My this condition is getting satisfied, right? That's why it has picked up 200 because of this condition. First name equals to first two is getting failed. That's why for this particular row, this condition is actually true because this condition is actually failing. Okay, so you have to remember one thing: validate is just opposite of case. Whenever the condition you are giving is failed, it picked up this value. That's why for last row it has picked up 200 because this condition is getting failed here. Okay, first name is not equals to first one. Okay, to be more precise, let me remove this one. so that I can at least explain you in a better way. Okay, so if my first name is first one, then only I'll be, so I have given a condition first name equals to first one. Okay, so this condition is failing for rest all the rows except the last one. That's why for all the rows it is choosing first underscore 100, not except the last one. So this is how validate works. Okay, now let's move on to if. Now if is a little bit different compared to case. Okay, so if you give a condition, okay, now when this condition is successful you give a success value, else you give a failure value. So it's allow you to give a failure value. Okay, so let's see. I'll write eval new field equals to if, let's say similar way, if my first name equals to first one, right, first one, if my first name equals to first one, then similar way I'll be converting to first underscore 100. Okay, otherwise I will not convert, I will keep as is. So that's why this failure condition. So if I do that, so if you see only for the first name and first underscore one it is converting, otherwise it is not. Now for if to provide a multiple conditions, just like case over here, right, I can provide condition 1, condition 2 as a comma separated, something like that. For if it will be a different one because it supports only this one, this condition, success and failure. So if you want to provide another condition, you have to add it to this failure condition. Here I can write another if. Okay, if my first name is equals to, let's say, first underscore 2, right, if my first name equals to first underscore 2, then I will give first 200, otherwise I'll keep my first name as is. So if I write this one, the argument is invalid. Why? Okay, this one I have to remove it and I have to keep it here. Okay, if you see now, when it falls back from this condition, it falls back to this condition, first underscore 200. So that's why it is converting again this 2 to 200, otherwise it is keeping as is. So this is how you can give multiple conditions in if, and that's why it is called nested if. You are putting if inside if. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about in, like and match operators. Okay, before I move to coalesce operator. Okay, now in is a very simple operator where you will just say uh, my value. You are basically checking whether the value you have is a part of that set or not, right? If I can let's just say I can give first underscore 9 one value. Okay, so what I am saying is my first name in, first underscore 9 and first underscore 8. That's it, what in is doing. Now if you see, it will give you an error because it is saying fields cannot be assigned a boolean result, instead of try this one. So basically this particular expression is giving me a true value or false value, right? So to use it with eval, I have to use like this. So if this condition is getting successful, I'll write true, otherwise I'll write false. Okay, now I can use it. Now if I just table this 3, if you see, for first 2 rows where my first name is between 8 and 9, it is giving true, otherwise it is giving me false. Now by doing this, you can create true false value, right? Now as this particular expression is giving me a true false value, this particular expression, I can directly use this one with my where clause. Suppose I can write something like this, where first name is this. It will give you 2 rows where my first name is between these two. Okay. Similarly, like operator. So as I discussed, new val new underscore field, this like in and this like in and match operator all gives you true and false value, boolean values, returns boolean values. That's why either you can use it with where clause to filter out the data, or if you want to use it with eval, you have to use it with some if or if clause, so that you can either at least return true and false. Okay, so what like do, basically it's a wildcard. It can use a wildcard operator and do a string search on that. Suppose I'm giving like first name. Okay, let's say my first names are like underscore. If you see my data, so under to see what are my fields are underscore 8, let's say. Okay, so I'll give percentage underscore 8 8 percentage. Now this percentage is a wildcard operator. It can match with any number of characters. If you are from SQL background, if you see, if SQL also have a like operator, right? But there is a star operator which matches any characters. Here is the percentage one. Okay, and I am using with eval, so I'll be using with if. Then I'll create a string called true, otherwise I'll create a string called false. Now I'll just table it in the similar way. Now if you see, it is giving me true only for the second row, and my first name is first underscore 8. Now similar way you can use it with where clause as well, where like this one, you have to remove this true false, right? It will give you only one row where my first name is first underscore 8. Let's move on to match. Now match is more versatile compared to like, because it can use regular expression here. I already discussed the regular expression in my previous video. You can check out there how to use the regular expression. Okay, now if I am saying new fields equals to match, let's say I want to match the underscore 8, right? So my field name, similar way, first name, this is my field name, and this will be my regular expression, where let's say, so I will be matching any character, that is dot, more than one, or better I will match something like this. Yes, any character, then plus, that means more than one or more repetition, then there is a underscore 8. Okay, so let's see how it works. If this one, then true, otherwise false. Okay, now let me table it. Okay, now if you see, it is matching with this one, because if you see the regular expression I have given, any characters number of time, one or more time, then there is a underscore and there is a 8. It's only matching with this one. That's why it is giving me true here. Okay, the similar way you can use this match with where clause to filter out your data. Okay, so we have discussed about match. Let's discuss about coalesce function. Okay, now coalesce is an interesting function where, let me give you the syntax first. So coalesce, it always give you the first not null value of the list of the values you are giving. Let's say you can pass any number of value here, value 1, value 2, value 3, dot dot dot. So any number of value here, it will always give you the first not null value present in this particular list. Okay, so let's do that. So I'll say eval new, let's say field 1 equals to, I'll create a null field. This is how you create a null field through eval. Okay, with this null function, and then I'll create another field. Okay, if you remember, this is the eval chain I am using. Let's say seed. Okay, and I'll create another field 3. Okay, again null, let's say. Okay, now if I write eval new field underscore field equals to coalesce of these three fields, field 1, field 2, and field 3. So what it will give me, it will give me the field 2 value. Now if I just table it, table new field, if you see, it will always give me the field 2 value. Now if field 2 is also null, let's say null, field 3 has some value, let's say seed, let's say test. In this case it will give me the field 3 value, like this. So this is how coalesce works. Now coalesce is important because if you have two different source of data and you want to implement a logic where if the data is present in one source, okay, you will take that data. If that's not present in one source and you want to move to another source of data to get the value, you can use this coalesce command to get that. Okay, now let's move on to some conversions functions like to number. So it's very easy to implement. If I, let's say if I have a number called 3, let's say field 1 equals to 3. Okay, so I have created a string. Okay, now I'll create a new field, okay, by converting to number the field 1. So it will basically convert this string to number. Okay, and table new field. Okay, now how I know this is working, maybe I can try to use it mathematically. Let's say new field plus 7, so it will give me the summation of 10, right? If you see, so that means new field is basically a number. This is how we convert it to a number. There is another function called toString where you can convert it to string, but it has another input which is interesting one, so that I'll discuss. So let's say I have a field something like this one. string, something like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, and I'll create a new field, okay, with the toString. Now toString converts a string, right? You can use it to convert a numbers to string. Okay, if I just give this one and toString field1, okay, and table new field, it's basically converting it to string. Now toString provides another argument, and that argument can have three different values. One is hex, another is duration, and another is I think toString commas. Yep. So first we'll discuss the commas. So it will format the numbers. So if I see new field, actually in double quotes we have to give, not single quote. Okay, if you see, it is formatting the number. Okay, if I give, let's say 60 here, okay, and give duration, so it's basically convert this to hour, minute, second. So and this will treat this field as a second value. Okay, so if I do this one, if you see, it is giving me 1 minute. Okay, so it will basically convert this whole value to a hour, minute, second value. And there is another one called hex, so it will give you a hexadecimal number of the field you are giving here. Okay, so this is how you can use toString. Let's discuss about SHA-1. So this is this any of the SHA fields or any of the cryptographic functions. There are a lot of cryptographic functions like MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256, SHA-512. You can use to encode a particular value, right? Let's say I have a credit card number, something like this. I'll give you this queries as well for your reference. So I have credit card number, something like this. I want to encode this one in Splunk. So this one, right? If I say field new field equals to SHA-1 of field1, it will basically give you the encoded value of this field1. Table field1 and then new field, right? So if you see, it is giving me the encoded value of this field1. Okay, let's move on. Date and time function. So date and time functions are really important functions because Splunk always deals with date and times, right? The event timing and all. So it's really important, different date and time functions. One of the best function is new underscore, let's say field1 equals to now. It will give you the current time. Field1, it will give you the current time in epoch format. So how epoch format is that Unix time date format, right? So now if I want to see in the readable format, I have to use strf time. So remember this one, when you convert from epoch to readable format, you use strf time. When you convert from readable format to epoch format, you use strp time. So let's say field 2 is strf time, right? Because I want to convert this field 1 to some readable format. So field 1, let's say I'll give some format, something like this. %d is for day, percent m is for month, percent capital OI is for four digit year, then percent h is for hour, percent m is for minute, percent s is for second. And if I just table these two, field 2, so if you give me, it is giving me current date and time, right? So if I want to convert this field 2, let's say into an epoch format again, let's say field 3, so I'm converting from readable to epoch, I will be using strp time. Okay, now this time I will be using field 2, and then for strp time and strf time, you have to know the format of the for strf time, you are basically giving the format you want to display as. Now for strp time to work, you need to know what format this particular readable format is, otherwise it won't be able to convert into epoch. So as I know, because I have used this one here, so I'll be giving the same format here, and then let's say field 3, it is giving me the same epoch value if you see here. Okay, this is how strf time, strp time and now works. Now time is basically let's say field 4, maybe I can will not be able to show you here, field 4 time. So what, but the basic fundamental stuff about time is it gives you the time when this evaluation function, this eval function has been executed. Currently it will give you the same value because it is very fast enough and I have very smaller number of rows, but when you have huge number of rows, this time maybe you will be able to find the difference between this amongst all these field values. Okay, let's move on. Now let's say there are certain kind of informational functions like is null, is number or not. They're very easy to use. Suppose let's say I have a field which is having null value. Okay, I'll be giving field 2 as is null. I'll be checking whether this field is null or not. Field 1. Okay, table field 1, field 2. Okay, now this is the boolean value of field 2 because is null returns either true or false. Okay, so there is if you remember just few time minutes back I have discussed the toString value. TrueString also has the capability to automatically convert a boolean to true and false. If I just give toString here, okay, now if I see, it's automatically converting this one. Okay, field none is null, that's why it is always giving me true. Okay, so this is how you use is null. Is number is same, you just check whether there is a number or not. I'll give you the type of, let's say I have a field called value is 2. Okay, or let's say in my main index, right, I have a field called salary. Let's say what is my type of this field, so new field is type of salary. Okay, so if I just table new field, it will give me number. Okay, now you have to remember one thing, when your eval statements is starting from here, right, that means whatever data you have before that eval, it will work on that one. So that as my data is all having total 9 events, that's why it is giving me total 9 rows. If my data have only single event, it will give me a single row. Suppose I'll give an example. There is a command called make results by which you can create a new field, right? And if I give, and by default it always creates a single row. Now if I run this one with this one, then it will give me invalid because I have to create another field, then salary, let's say 200. Okay, now okay, it has to be a comma here as I discussed before. So this number. Okay, this is how it works. Let's move on. Now, mathematical functions. Splunk supports a very wide range of mathematical functions like absolute value, ceiling, exact, exponential, floor, log. This is just normal mathematical stuff. Even it supports a lot of trigonometric functions like cosine, sine, tan, everything. So nothing fancy over there. So I'll just discuss one of these functions called round, which is very much we use day to day wise. So it's basically taking the rounding of this one. Just say 200, 0, 0, 0, say 1 2 3 4 5 6. If I just give round of salary to 2 decimal point, right, it will give you the 2 decimal point of rounding value. Now max, now let's move. I'm moving to statistical functions. Now max is basically, as the name suggests, it gives you the maximum value among the list of values you provide over there. Suppose I will create this new field. New field equals to, let's say, max of 1 2 3 4 4 5, right? So what will give me? It will give me 5. Don't confused with this Splunk stats max functions. Okay, this is the max functions you are using with eval. Okay, let's move on. Random is basically gives me a random value. I think the range is 2 to the power 31 minus 1, from 0 to 2 to the 31 minus 1. So it creates a random integers. Okay, it don't take any argument. It just simply call it. It gives you a integer, random integer. Now text functions. Let's move on. Let's say I have a field called sit. Okay, so if I create length equals to, length is the function of any field you can give. So length copy, so it gives me the length of that particular string. Now replace. Now let's say I'll go back to my index. Okay, now let's say replace is a function where you can use a regular expression to replace the value of any particular string with the new value. Okay, suppose let's say, first I will do eval. Okay, new field equals to, let's say if you see my data here, everywhere I have underscore 1 underscore 2 underscore 3 underscore 4, right? Suppose this every underscore a digit I want to replace with underscore 0. Okay, so I'll write replace. Okay, then my field name, in this case it is the first name, right? Then my regular expression to find that pattern, and this will be my regular expression. It is starting with underscore, then it has to match with a digit which is called, that's why it is slash d, and that will be a single occurrence of the digit, right? And then what I will replace with, I'll replace with underscore 0. Let's see how it works. Okay, so if I give table first name and then new field, let's say. Okay, if you see everywhere, wherever it is finding this underscore a digit, single digit, it is replacing with underscore 0. You can use any kind of complex regular expression here. Okay, so let's move on to substring is really easy. It's just take the substring. Suppose I want to get the first three characters of my first name, so I will write substr is the substring one, then my field name, first name, then I'll start from one. I'll take three characters, then I'll say table first name, and then this new field. Okay, so it is always giving me the first three characters of my string. So URL decode. Now URL decode is like, if suppose you have URLs, right? If you see, whenever you have URL, whenever you have, let's say, space or slash in your URL, when you do URL decode, it adds and it replaces those things with the corresponding URL decode formats, right? So if you suppose you want to do the reverse stuff, suppose you have this kind of URL and you want to know what is the actual URL is, so in that case you can use this URL decode function. So I'll just give you an example here. I have it. Suppose I have something like this. Okay, so I have a URL something like this. Okay, and I'm using URL decode on top of it. Let's see how this field comes up. New field. If you see, it is giving me the proper one. It is replacing with this colon with %3a, then two slash with %2f and 2f, like this. Okay, this is how URL decode works. Now let's come back to the point where I left off at the first, using eval with stats, stream stats and event stats. Okay, this is very important. This is another really good use case of eval, where when you do stats, event stats or stream stats, right, you can pass a condition over there. Suppose, let's say this is my main index, right? Suppose I want to take the count only when my value is first one underscore one. Okay, so I can write something like this, stats, right, then count. Okay, inside that I can provide a eval expression. Okay, the eval expression will be my first name, okay, equals to first one. If I run this one, specify a rename of this. Okay, I have to name as, let's say, count. Okay, it's giving me only one. You can provide any kind of complex expression, something like this one here, and let's say salary equals to 100. Equals to this guy. It will also give me one count because I have only one data. Okay, this is very specifically important in the event stats and stream stats, where you have very limited options to give any where clause, because with stats anyhow I can give any where clause, right? But event stats and stream stats, it's really difficult. In that case, you can provide this kind of filtering condition inside that event stats and stream stats with this eval expression. Okay, this is another cool use case of eval inside the stats, stream stats and event stats. So hopefully it will be helpful for you guys. So these are all the different use case I can think of for eval. And there is another huge number of use cases I have not discussed today, which I parked it for my next video, is for the multi-value function, because those requires a separate discussion at all. Okay, so I'll be covering them in the next video. Till now, see you in next video. Thank you.